So when you end a persuasive speech or persuasive essay, you always want to conclude with a call to action that's specific, measurable, and achievable. And I did not hear that. What exactly do you want people to do?
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well, you have a reason that you want them to do something because you want them to believe that prayer in school is beneficial. But you didn't think about what you want them to do with that. Like, if somebody finishes listening to you and says, yeah, it sounds like it could be a good idea to have prayer back in schools, what do you want them to do about it? Which leads to my second piece, which is, you started by telling me that your audience was teens through adults. But are we talking about people of the Christian faith or anybody? And here's why that really matters for a speech like yours. If your audience is just anybody, you're going to have a lot of people who every time you say, our Father, and we need to communicate with Him and what our Father can do for us, that's not true for them. For a lot of people, if they don't know God, He's not their Father, and He doesn't have to listen to their prayers. So, most of your speech to me sounded like your audience was Christians. So so you just want to think about that, and you want to think about the fact that if you want this to be for anybody, then you're going to have to go back in, and you're going to have to acknowledge what your opposition would say. And a good example of where I was thinking about that in your first big body paragraph, where you're giving this really, really interesting set of data, where you're like, after 63, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and I'm thinking, holy smoke. Now, the logic professor would say to you, you don't have a direct correlation per se. You're drawing a correlation that may or may not be true. But you, as the speaker, can say, is it likely that this exorbitant rise in all of these important social indicators is merely a coincidence? Because of course people are saying now that the person who's not a Christian, if your speech is for non-Christians, is like, oh please, that could have been any number of factors that influence that. How does she know that that is a prayer thing? Right? And so you just sort of say, is it likely that many social indicators directly connected to immoral behaviors? Would that just be coincidental? Seems to be, and because the way you said, after you gave all that really good data, you said it emphatically, like, this definitely relates to that. And you would definitely be questioned by someone who's not a Christian. You'd be questioned by somebody who's a Christian, too, just because, so that's what I'm saying. You want to, like, presuppose that and just say, huh, and then just tone down this emphatic nature of your connection. When you want to say, it seems very likely that there's a connection here that we need to really think about and consider. You know what I mean? Because then you haven't declared anything. You've just said, look at this fascinating array of data. You be the judge. What do you think, my intelligent audience? You know what I mean? Like, you're giving them, you know what I mean? Like, you're giving them the weight of the decision making in that instance. Okay, so that's a big place to change. And then you've got to decide whether your audience is all Christians, and then your middle body paragraph about this is what prayer is, and we're talking to our Father, and we all need this, it's going to work. But if it's going to be a blanket audience, you're going to have to kick out the paragraph.
Okay.
Because anybody there who doesn't know God is like, that ain't true for me. Oh, don't be putting your God on me, my Father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I would just say, just like I said at the end, if you are indeed talking to Christians, what in the world could they possibly do to get prayer back in school? Because you haven't addressed things like, who's going to lead the prayer? If it's public school, and all these public school teachers don't believe in God, are they going to pray? Who are they bringing in? And is their prayer going to be effective? So like in the old days, there were actually scripted prayers, and the teacher read it, so it didn't really matter, right? So you just need to think about what exactly do I want? How would this look in this modern era?